Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Nat. So today what I really wanted to do is I want to record a kind of everyday makeup look. I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill first volume of her palette. And this is kind of just my everyday makeup look that I like to do. I like to keep it really nice and simple. So just know that you don't have to have this palette in order to do this look. It's all about kind of finding dupes and finding what works out for you. I know that this look works on majority of skin tones and it always looks great. So feel free to follow along. So first, I always start out with a moisturizer on my face. I use the Mary Kay Time Wise lotion, and then I will just go and I will rub that all around my face. I've never really been one too much to like use an actual primer for my face. I don't see the benefit of it because it's never really done much for me. I kind of just started doing this over time because I usually do my makeup when I'm done with a shower, and what I like to do first is I like to moisturize. Then taking the Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea, I'll spray down my face with that. Next, I will then dab this all in to my skin. And this just kind of helps me feel refreshed. Then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use my MAC Studio Water Weight SPF 30 foundation in the shade NW22. This is kind of my shade right now. I'm a little bit tan, so what I like to do is I like to use a shade that's kind of right around there. I really like this foundation, and this is kind of like the first foundation from MAC that I've really liked. So I just go, and I'll just kind of put it in the areas that I know I concentrate a lot on. I take my beauty sponge and I will spray it down with my face mist. I started doing this because I didn't get up and wet my beauty blender before I started doing my makeup, but then I started doing this and I actually noticed that it really helps and makes a difference in the way that your foundation stays on because it's being dabbed in with that. So I'll just start bouncing. Kind of do like a rough layout first of kind of like where all my foundation goes. Down underneath the chin is a big one, and then blending down, I put a little bit on my ears, make sure everything's good, and then that's when I really start to go into town and really make sure that it's blending out. Next, taking my Jeffree Star concealer in the shade C13, I'm just going to do a little bit underneath my eyes. Then kind of bring right here in between the eyebrows, and then I'll go here, and then I also like to brighten up right around my nostrils as well. Then taking that exact same beauty blender, we'll just go and blend it all in. I know this shade is just a little bit light for me right now, but I kind of really like that brightening look that it does. Then what I'll do is I'll kind of look up. I'll make sure that it really gets underneath my eyes. Then I'm going to take my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and spray this all down. What I recently started doing is I've been using this Fresh Face Makeup Removing Towel. It looks like this, and I am honestly in love with it. Thank you, Mom. And what I'll do is before I go and put on my powders, I will just kind of use this to dab around my whole entire face. And what I've noticed is that this really helps pick up any extra makeup that you kind of have on your face that makes you kind of feel cakey or anything like that, because I know some foundations, no matter how lightly you put them on, it always ends up feeling like that. Next, taking the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Powder. It looks like this right here. I will just go to town with it, and I really like this. I'm then using a Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH03 brush to go in, and immediately when I put it on, you can just tell how mattifying it is. I really don't like going for those wet, dewy looks. I sweat enough as it is. So I recently started doing this to help with all my makeup instead of using kind of like a translucent loose setting powder. I kind of like this more. Next, taking the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH02 brush, which is a big fluffy brush. I Recommend this brush to every single one of my friends, family members, everyone. Then taking a bronzer with NARS Laguna, I'm going to dip in, tap off excess, and then I'll start contouring. So first I really like to concentrate up on the forehead. This is just kind of like my rough cut first, I like to call it. Then bringing it down onto my cheekbones. And then I will go along my jawline as well. Then I'll also bring it along my nose. Because what I notice is if you don't add bronzer to your nose and you're just contouring just kind of the outsides of your face, what it will do is it will actually make this part pull out super far, and I don't like having a long face look as I already have a long face in general. So just adding just that little bit of bronzer, it really helps. Then once again, I'm taking that same makeup removing towel and I will just lightly kind of rub around my face, and this helps blend it in. And then I'm not a huge person for blush or anything of that sort, so what I will do is I will take the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH04 brush, dipping back into the Laguna. What I will do is I will concentrate a little bit more of my contour, and kind of like whatever rosiness is pulling through is what I like to use. I am actually a dancer, so I don't like having heavy blushed out looks because it just reminds me of when I was a little kid in dance and you just always have the blush like there's no tomorrow. So it just kind of has scarred me a little bit. Next, I'm going to be moving on to highlighter. So I'm going to be using the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill JH09 brush, and I am going to dip into her palette into the shade Beam. Tapping off excess, and then what I'll do is I will just lightly tap the shade on. I've always been one to kind of use eyeshadows for other things than eyeshadow. I know that it's not really a big thing for people, but I like having the diversity of the shades and being able to do more with them. Alrighty, now we're going to move on to eyeshadow. So first, what I am going to do is I am going to take this big Morphe blending brush and I'm going to dip into the shade Silk Cream. And I will put that all over my lid. I really like this shade because I noticed that it's just overall, it really goes well with my eyes, and it's really easy to blend and work with, and it goes with all of the colors. Next, taking a Morphe M573 brush, I'm going to dip into the shade Pukey. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate it on just this outer kind of V area. Then when the brush is kind of running out of product, then I will start dragging it into my inner corner. I like to use circular motions, kind of help buff everything out. And repeat on the other side. Next, taking a Morphe X Jeffree Star JS9 brush, I'm going to dip into the shade Mocha and Buns. Once again, concentrating that more on this outer corner. Then when your brush starts kind of running out of product, then dragging it into that inner corner. Next, going back to that same Morphe brush that we used in the beginning with Silk Cream, you're going to have nothing on your brush, and you're just going to go and kind of go over everything. Next, taking a Morphe M73 brush again, I'm going to dip into Central Park, just a little bit of it, and then again tapping on that outer corner. I'm not trying to bring this up as much, I'm kind of keeping it down underneath my crease. Once again, taking that Morphe brush from the beginning and going back over everything. I call this a rough blend because it's just taking whatever I don't get with the brush and just overall melting it all together. Next, taking just a flat Morphe brush like this, I'm going to dip into SBN and then Obsessed. And I'm going to concentrate that on just this part of my lid, a little bit inner corner, and then bringing it just slightly outwards to blend in with Central Park. Perfect. Then taking the opposite side of that brush, I'm going to dip into the shade 24/7 and just lightly stamp it in between Central Park and then SBN and Obsessed. This just helps kind of blend everything out just a little bit more so it doesn't look like it's just sharp glitter and then all of a sudden it's matte. Then I'm going to be taking a Morphe X Jeffree Star JS13 brush, which is just a small dome brush, and dipping into the shade Mocha in Buns, I'm going to run this across my lower lash line. Then taking a Morphe M330 brush, I'm just going to take, has nothing on it, I'm just going to run this across my lower lash line to help smoke it out just a little bit. Then taking a Morphe M506 brush, I'm going to dip into the shade Beam once again, and I'm going to run this across my brow bone. Then in my inner corner as well. I am not rubbing my brush, but I'm doing light tapping motions. I don't want to have a distinct line between these shades, so then I'm going to be taking my Morphe M330 brush. Again, there's no product on this. I'm just going to help melt these together. So this is what my eyeshadow looks like so far. Next, I'm going to move on to my eyebrows. If you probably haven't noticed already, I shaved off the tails of my eyebrows. I wanted to do this for a really long time, and I just wanted to start kind of making new tail shapes. I shaved them about 5 days ago and they're already growing back. I recommend it to anybody who wants to try it. And I'm also using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. So the shape that I've been doing recently is I've been brushing out from the start of where this part of my eyebrow ends, and I've just been making a straight line kind of out, a little bit curved but not bad. And then running along the top of my brow, I will then start making an arch and then connecting the lines. Then I'll just kind of run this through my whole entire brow. So this is what my eyebrows look like when I am all done with them. Then before I move on to eyeliner or anything of that, I'm just going to take, again, my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and spray down my whole face. Next, for eyeliner, I actually am not going to do a winged liner, especially with something like this that's kind of everyday. I want to keep it just a little bit kind of neutral, so what I will do is I will start in my inner corner and just lightly tapping. I'm using the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner in the shade Intense Black. And then instead of going for like a dramatic wing, I'm going to do just a little kind of small one. And then I'm just going to run this across my lower lash line. Once that is done, I am going to be taking my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil. This is completely optional. This is in the shade Legend, and I like to tightline and use my waterline. So using that pencil, I'm going to lift up on my lid just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm then going to take that beauty sponge that we used earlier, and I'm going to push down on my eye in order to get to my waterline because I don't want to pull down with my fingers. Next, taking my Lily Lashes Triple X Mascara, I'm going to run this through my lashes. And then that's it. If you want to add on lashes, you can. This is completely optional. I really don't want to put on lashes today, so I'm just going to kind of keep this look as it is. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed. One last time, I'm going to be taking my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray.